So put to death. In other words, make dead. Make dead, says Paul. Therefore, what is earthly in you? What's he talking about? Dirt? No, earthly is of this world. He actually explains, he says, put to death sexual immorality, impurity, passions, lust, cravings of covetousness. Like he says, this is idolatry. The wrath of God is coming because of these things. Idolatry. The word idolatry in the Greek is a cool word. It's idolatria, and it means image of worship. So many times we're running after things that the wrath of God is coming for. Seriously, it's like running to the fridge when we need comfort, running to the smokes when we need comfort, running to booze when we need comfort. It's if you run into anything other than God, that thing is an idol. So you don't have an immorality problem. You've got a worship problem. You don't have a drinking problem. You've got a worship problem. You say, what are you saying? I worship the bottle? Do you run to the bottle? Do you need the bottle? You don't have a lust problem. You've got a worship problem. You're running and worshiping the wrong thing. It's an idol. And Paul is saying you got to flee from these things. They're things of this world. These idols can never ultimately satisfy you. They make big promises and they never deliver. Paul goes on to say this. He goes, and these two, you once walked, I get that. You were once living in them, but now you got to put them away. You got to put away anger and wrath, malice, slander. Like put these things away. Don't even let obscene talk come from your mouth, he says. Do not lie to one another, seeing that you've put off the old self and you're putting on this new self, which is being renewed in knowledge after the image of its creator. It's like the word renewed here is a unique word to Paul. He kind of made it up, and he literally means grow up. Grow up. Here, he says, where? Here in the kingdom, it should be different. There's neither Greek nor Jew nor circumcised or uncircumcised, barbarian, Scythian, slave, free. Like we're all, he says Christ is all and he's in all. Like in this community of faith that we call it, like in the company of the king, it should be different. It's the kingdom of God. It should be different. Our love for each other should be greater than our differences. We shouldn't be racist at all. We shouldn't be looking at skin in that way at all. Like God doesn't see lines the way we see lines. We draw lines over everything. Maps, draw lines, boundaries, globes, boundaries, maps, boundaries. God doesn't look at the earth that way. People's skin colors, God doesn't put one skin color over another skin color. What we see going on in the world today is not a skin problem, it's a sin problem. It's a matter of the heart. It's always the heart of the matter is the matter of the heart. And when we come to God and say, God, I can't do this, I need to surrender to you, he gives you a new heart. That's what Ezekiel says in the Old Testament. Jeremiah talks about it too. I'll give you a new heart, a heart of flesh, and remove that heart of stone. He removes it. It's like a decisive surgery. He removes our heart of stone, gives us a heart of flesh that we could be soft toward him, soft to each other. Like we're new creatures. We get a new heart, new eyes, new mind. We should be different. And he's saying this, be different. It's not that, well, be different, clean up, and then you can be a Christian. It's that you are a Christian. You give your life to Christ. You are a Christian. Now be that. Be different. Now be different. It's not like we work our way to heaven. So we get to be different. Become who he says we are. The Bible says he who has the Son has life. And if you don't have the Son, you don't have life. All you've got then is just religious works. That's not going to get you anywhere. It's just earthly. Colossians 3:12 says, then put on then. So we put off the old garb, the old stuff. Put on then as God's chosen ones, holy and beloved by God. Put on compassionate hearts. Put on kindness. Put on humility, meekness, patience. He says, bearing with one another. If one has a complaint against another, what do? Forgive one another. As the Lord has forgiven you, you must also forgive. And above all these things, put on love. Not just any kind of love, not brotherly love, not romantic love, but love that is God's love, agape love, which binds everything together knits everything together. Actually, the word actually means like glue. It's like gluing two pieces of paper together. Those two pieces of paper together, it's possible to rip them apart again, but not without a lot of pain, not without a lot of tearing. Mosquitoes! So he says Christ is all. What he means is that he is the thing that matters most in this community of faith. Yet, we know the problem at Colossae is the same, pretty much the same problem we're having today. We know it up here. We maybe get it down here, but we're not walking it out. And he's saying, walk this out. Walk this out. This ain't no cakewalk. This is a crosswalk. It's picking up your cross, dying to yourself and living for him. Look up Galatians 2:20 if you don't know it. This is how we're to live. In fact, if you get this and you're keeping stride with the Spirit and you're dying to yourself and you're really trying to let Christ live through you, what happens is, as a Christian, you are then dying to live.